We can talk a little bit about Ball State before we dig into our four picks, our observed fours for this game each time. But I mean, you've heard Hugh Freeze, you've heard several Auburn players now talk this week about how this week is about Auburn. And you don't want to just like those guys have earned scholarships. Those guys are D1 football players. Those guys are fighting hard. They're going to play hard. They're going to get this opportunity. But like it is much more this week about what Auburn needs to do and improve themselves rather than what can we do to beat Ball State or exploit what ball. There's a little bit of that to it, like in any football game. But this is a tune-up. This is a tune-up on par with some of the FCS games Auburn has played in years past.
No, this is something. The sooner Auburn can turn this game from a competitive football game into an NFL preseason game, or the sooner they can turn this into something more like a spring game, right? A jamboree, right? Like this, like that, the better. Yeah. And yes, I mean, I think there are some players who, they would like extended reps in this game. Auburn would like to see these players get extended reps.
And there's some things that Auburn needs, and we'll talk about, there's some things Auburn needs to do in this game that regardless of who's on the other side, they've got to be better about it, the stuff they can control, than what they did in week 1 against Baylor.
I think there are some other players where you'd be fine seeing them get minimal action this week and next week, and they can be 100%.
I feel fairly confident in saying that Damari Alston's not going to play.
Oh, sure, but even outside,
that feels like something you can bank on.
Even outside the injured players, like I think Auburn would love to run Jackson as little as possible in this game. Considering the stakes and the opponent, I think Auburn would love to utilize Keldrick as little as possible in this game in order to get some other guys some reps. Even Kayan and Jay Crawford, I think, are guys that Auburn would be fine saying, you know what? You have very little to prove.
I think with a guy like DeMarcus Riddick, considering the injury stuff he had in the preseason, maybe Amaris as well.
Yeah, it's like I'm not sure what you need to prove against Ball State or South Alabama before we go to Norman, and we need you as healthy as possible.
Next week will be a step up.
I agree. But I would say in general, like Auburn can sort of approach it as like it's important to win these games. It's important to get guys reps. It's important for your key contributors to be as healthy as possible, and maybe that influences, sort of how often they're used even early in the game. I wonder if there's. I mean, with Auburn last week, and yes, the Baylor game was a unique climate, but I mean, you think about like the utilization of Keldrick, the way they were sort of in and out of the game really quickly. There were extended periods where, I think there's the possibility of that, and maybe a rotation that skews towards guys who didn't play as much in the Baylor game.
So Ball State in week 1 against this Purdue team that they lined up against, it was a tough time. Ball State finished the game with 87 passing yards and 116 rushing yards. Only had 52 plays. That's 203 yards total. That's less than 4 yards a play. Not great. I believe I was looking this up before we started going. There were no turnovers in that game. So it was just getting it done on defense. Ball State punted 5 times and didn't score. It wasn't great.
I don't like the field goal attempt at the end.
Yeah,
either.
The coward field goal.
I don't like that, and the fact that it was